Well, we're going back in time.
Yeah. Hello, this is Cornerstone Worship Center, and we are bringing you Walking with the Lord. I am Pastor Don, and I have three other pastors here with me. First is my wife, Ernestine, and then next to Ernestine is my man, Pastor Mike, and at the far end is Pastor Jennifer.
We always wait to see if he says that right.
I got it right. Well, this is, I don't know why, but all of a sudden, I've been tired all morning and we started this thing and now I'm in a different mood.
Well, good. Got the giggles.
Yeah, I've got the giggles. I wish you could see what happened when we first started, but we'll avoid that. We'll get out of practice and see what happens. There's a couple of things we want to discuss today, and I want to start off by discussing missions. And that's such an important part, not only of the church's life, but the life of a Christian.
Yes.
Because the greatest mission trip the world's ever seen was Christ coming to earth.
Yeah.
And changing, letting himself be changed into a helpless baby. The man who sat at the right-hand side of God the Father, second in power of the universe. And he allowed himself to become a baby so that the three of us, the four of us, and you who are watching can be changed.
Yes.
And I'm just going to quickly ask you, starting with you, Ernestine.
Go ahead.
Well, you always picks me first and don't give me a chance to.
Starting with Jennifer. I got to live with her. What does missions mean to you? And I know you've never been on a mission trip, but still, you send them checks every month.
I do send them checks every month, and I do talk to them every
Yes.
month. What does it mean to me? I guess it means, it's outreach, but it's just important. It's just another way and tools that God can use people to reach others. And I think growing up, I was always taught missions is overseas. Missions is outside of the U.S. Missions is outside of the North America. It was, you had to go.
Yeah.
And as I've grown and matured, missions is just outside that door.
Right.
Missions is in your backyard.
Yes.
Right.
And that's what I've learned is missions doesn't mean that you have to live hundreds and thousands of miles away from your friends and family. Your mission can be your friends and family. That can be your mission field. It just depends on where God plants you and where He wants you to be. And but missions is important, whether you are overseas and you're in a different country, depending on the support of those that are back home, or if you go to work every day and that workplace is your mission field, or sometimes it's the daycare in your home, or the hair salon in your home, and that's your mission field. But yeah, missions is, I think people are involved in missions in more ways than they really think. They don't even realize that they're involved in missions.
I was looking at which I very seldom do, the replies that we have on these, and one stuck in my mind. The woman said this: "Thank you for your programming," and I'm not quoting it exactly, "for your programming. I find your conversation so interesting." And so that this is a mission field.
Yeah.
You know, we never looked at it we looked at it as an outreach,
Correct.
but isn't it an outreach mission?
Yes.
For example, my wife and I was on a mission trip Tuesday,
That's right.
when we went to visit one of our people who's sick. And we call it visitation,
Yes.
but it's a mission.
Yeah.
How about you, Mike?
Well, excuse me. I think, missions help us to do what God said, to help the widow and the orphans and the poor. And I think missions is a way of doing that. I mean, you get to them and the missionaries, they're out there doing everything they can do. And I think it's a great outreach. It's a necessity for the Christian life.
Right.
Without it, I don't think, where would we be, You hear of them over there, and then they're having people give their life to God every day, and that's what we're supposed to be doing.
Right.
And, by us supporting them, we're helping to further the kingdom of God.
Oh, yes.
And I think that's our responsibility as believers in God, is to support our missionaries. Because to me, it's a very important part of the walk.
Think of it, when you walk in heaven, there could be somebody walk up to you who you've never seen before and say, "Thank you, Brother Mike." And you're like I am when somebody comes up and says, "How's things at church?" I don't know who they are. And I look at my wife to see who she is. She goes,
I just talk and that.
Yeah.
But when you get to heaven, it's going to be revealed to them why they are there.
Yes.
And they were there because you cared and gave to missions and went on a mission trip.
Yes.
Yes. Did you go to Kenya with me?
Yes.
Was it Kenya?
Yes.
Boy, that's been a long time ago.
That was a while back, yes.
Yeah, that was when we were both good looking.
That was a long time ago.
Matter of fact, if I remember right, they had a steam car. It was so long ago. Anyway, that's right. How about you, Ernestine?
Well, I really enjoy missions. I guess in Bible school that's what it was. That was their theme, missions. So you just, it really sank in. But once you go on a trip, you see how needy the people are and how lost in that, and it does something to you. It changes you, and you want to see people serving the Lord. And I enjoyed every part of it, missions and meeting the new missionaries when they come and hearing about their adventures. They really have some. I mean,
Definitely.
yeah, it touches my heart. And with you, our missions field is in your own home and wherever you are. And
Yeah, that's why. Do we have that up there?
Yep.
We have
You
above
are entering the mission field.
You are entering the mission door. Mission door. Well, that fits too. You are
entering the mission field. There you go.
We have over the door as you exit from the sanctuary.
Yeah.
And we don't. I think that until we really understand what outreach or missions truly is, it's a giving of yourself.
Yes.
And it's obedience to what Christ said.
It is obedience.
Go.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
The hard part is knowing that there's so many churches that don't even participate.
Yes.
And you think, what they're missing the boat. They're
Yeah.
missing the blessing.
Yes.
They're actually missing what God said.
Yes.
Said to do, yes.
When he said go into all the world, I think that he probably meant it.
Yeah, I'm more than certain, yes.
Well, he said it quite a few times.
Yes, he did.
I remember my first Anchor Bay convention, and that's when they had like a whole service that was nothing but missions.
Yeah.
And I sat and cried, because it just touches you to hear
Yes.
their stories. And
Yes,
to see what they go through, but yet they are so excited. And it was the Dettons that killed me
yeah,
that day, because they had this whole, with all their kids and, you know, that they deal with, and, but yet they're not discouraged at all.
Yes.
no,
Donna and Randy are always upbeat, no
yeah.
matter what's going on, and then the latest one is, and her name just flew out of my head, Kristen.
yeah.
Yes.
Kristen, tell you what, I don't know that you can have a more upbeat person.
Oh, my,
And
yes.
then be able to go to the place that she goes and see what she sees.
Yeah, think about it. They are in Brazil right now for 2 months.
Yeah.
Now, first of all, I can't see Ben in the mission field
2 months.
for 2 months.
Yes.
Now, they are in Brazil, which is basically a fairly modern country, but they aren't in the main city.
Right.
They're out in as a matter of fact, the city they are in right now is controlled by witches.
Oh, my.
Can you imagine? And they went to a school. I'm not too sure they had permission, but they went to the school and started to preach, and they preached to 300 students. And I may be stating the wrong number, but I think there was about 200 that received the Lord, and they were kicked out of school. But
Well, I read that, and the leader of the school was a witch.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, the whole town is controlled,
Yeah.
and now they're out on the street.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the?
How welcome you feel.
Yeah,
But you know, to listen to her, I picture this in my head, 'cause I've not seen it, but I just picture it. You know, they have this van or this pickup truck, and you have this sound system in the back, and here's Kristen standing in the back of this truck, just doing what Kristen does.
Yeah.
With the energy that she
So
does.
well.
Yeah,
And she's not scared.
no,
You know, it's because she knows where her
Just
strength
presses
comes
on,
from, and I don't know how you can hear those stories and talk to those individuals and see those pictures and not want to give,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
want to. I mean, we're not here trying to solicit money and all that
No,
kind
no.
of stuff. But I don't know how you can walk away and not have that desire.
Yeah, you should get touched by it.
Yeah. I don't have a desire to go to the mission field overseas, but it touches my heart
Yes.
that I want to give to them
Yeah.
And that's
and
fine.
support them however I can.
Everybody's not called to
go.
well, we're called to go.
Go.
But I mean,
not-
to go overseas,
Yeah.
sometimes you're called to give money.
You're right.
Right.
The 4 of us,
Yeah.
last October, that's been almost a year ago now,
Oh my goodness.
we met
yes.
Christian
Yes.
for the first time. And the men, I know when I met her, I fell in love
Oh,
with her.
absolutely.
And because of what she's doing and how she does it.
Yeah.
You cannot walk in the same room where she is
And not
and
feel
not know it's time to get excited
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, she's so energetic.
Yes, it's disgusting. I mean, she is, and I hope I'm not revealing something, because Christian will be watching this. I hope I'm not revealing something, but I'll just put it this way. She is over 50. I could go higher, but I'll stay at 50.
What did you say?
And to have such energy. for
Yes.
the Lord. Now, when they get back, I'm going to try and get her and
And
her
him.
husband up
Yeah,
here.
Jess, yeah.
Now, I know that's going to, well, kind of put, it's going to cost some money to get them
Yeah.
here. But we need that kind of person to come and energize us.
Yes.
If no one else. Oh.
I got to shut it off.
It's all right. It
Yeah.
happens.
We were used to that.
Some people are
Who's that
really
first thing?
popular.
He said first thing to
There's so many missionaries,
I
that
have-
I've had the pleasure of being around.
I have to say, one of my favorites was, Brother Whiteley and his wife.
Yes.
And I have to say, I just read his, book of adventures with his mission. Oh, my word. The thing, all the countries he went to and the things that he did and
And
the
the
things,
languages.
and the things he went through. I mean, I'm thinking, oh my goodness. You know, and his wife too, how there was one especially in there where he had to go someplace and they left her someplace on a mountain, someplace, taking care of things, and her kids were there. I probably won't get the story right. But anyway, her child got sick, took something she shouldn't have took, I guess. And she had to take her down to the hospital, and the car wasn't there. It happened that somebody came with a car, and so she asked them and told them about it, and so they said, yeah, go take the car. And the roads, she was down the mountain, and the roads were terrible, it was icy. But you know, God was with her, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness.
Yeah, God may put you or allow you to get into a situation.
Yes.
But He's there.
He's there, and he protected her all the way, you know, and even at the hospital, and their child was all right. But it was serious that she should go to the hospital.
I recall being the very first time we went to Africa. I was at another church, and we went out into the Maasai land, which is out in the middle of nowhere, you know, where you don't have running water, you don't have electricity and all that stuff. And we were out putting roofs on buildings. And all of a sudden we saw, if I remember right, 5 or 6 soldiers. And they were all drunk.
Oh, boy.
And they were carrying the Uzis.
Oh.
And they stopped and started looking at us and pointing the finger and all. And I'll have to admit, that was a time that I said to myself, self, why are you here?
Right.
But they yelled at us a bunch of things, and then person just wandered off. But I had to feel that God was there.
Amen.
And to my fault, at least for me, what I should have been saying, oh Lord, protect us. I was wondering where I could hide.
Yeah, right.
How fast can I run?
Yeah.
So, but that shows the lack of faith that I had. But God was still there. I never asked any others if they was praying or not. I think they were just as scared as I was.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was one of the stories that I had 10 million of. But
Yeah.
or the time that Tony and I had our passports taken away.
Oh, yeah. That's
Yes,
scary.
and then we had to get on the airplane and fly from Tanzania into South Africa. And we didn't have the passports on us.
Oh, wow.
And that was a
Bad.
challenge. But then I was seasoned enough to put it in God's hand, and so did Tony. And so we had confidence. But the main thing was, because we didn't have a passport, the airline stewardess took us past the immigration and took us up and introduced us to somebody to handle the situation, and they gave us our passports back.
Oh, praise the Lord.
Yeah. But these are kind of the things you
Go through.
you go through. And, anything
You're in
else?
jeopardy when you're in the cornfield.
Yeah. Which reminds me of one more short one. We were going to Tanzania. We flew in, and if you go in, you got to pay for your visa. And it was posted, visa, $50, $50 US. And so Tony and I would go up, and Tony was with me. I think that's the same trip. Why did
Yeah,
we go on that
probably
trip?
was.
And we go up to give him the $100 for the two of us, and I hand him the 250s. And he turned to Tony and says, "Where's your money?"
Mm.
And we, well, says $50, that's $100 for, you pay $100 a person.
Oh, wow.
Well, what do?
You pay it.
You're right, you reach deep into your pocket and get another $100 and give it to them and thank them for being so kind. Otherwise, yeah, you just got all these people standing around with the rifles.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and so you just bow to whatever they say.
Mhm.
Yeah. That, I didn't mean to tell. I mean, I could sit here for hours, but I won't. Anything else you want to say about missions? It's an exciting field.
Yeah, and I think if anybody's not involved, they should get involved.
Yes.
In one way or another.
Yeah, one way or another, whether they wanna be the missionary or they just wanna help support them.
And they can always be a missionary at home.
Well, you know, we've talked about the Dentons who are in Mexico. We've talked about Kristen who does Mexico and Brazil. But tonight, you guys are going to Claire. And that's a mission field.
Yeah.
What Renee has going on in Claire, and that's, an hour away from here.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And she does amazing work up there.
Amen.
And so you don't have to, like I said, you don't have to travel.
No.
Very far.
She may not think of herself as a missionary, because it's not the traditional that you think of, but it's a mission that she
Yes,
has.
it is, yes, it is.
It's a ministry and a mission, and
Very needy.
yeah, and it's local. I mean, it's here, it's in Michigan,
Yeah.
And believe me, our nation does need missions.
I think
Missionaries.
I think the most important thing we need to remember is we need to pray for them. They need
Oh,
prayer.
yes.
Yes, yes.
We need to keep them in our prayer every day.
Yeah, I would like to, if possible, when we have, I forgot her name now.
which one?
Kristen.
Christian here, that we have maybe a Saturday night missions service.
Mm.
And maybe we could invite a few churches to
Come.
come and meet.
That would be
meet them.
great, yes.
And then, of course, have our normal Sunday service. I just think that would be a chance to expose her ministry. And it's not for us, it's to expose her ministry
Yes.
with these people.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And because they need support.
Definitely.
And one thing I had found out by talking to not all the missionaries, many missionaries that we have, and we know inflation is bad here. It isn't as bad as it is other places.
Yes.
And so, I mean, there's many times I'd like to double what we spend, but you gotta have it first.
Yes.
Before you spend it, yeah. Any added? Okay. Transitions. And the reason we're going through transitions, and I hate them. Now, I'll be honest. They're frustrating. Mainly because, let me put it this way. How many people like a change in their life?
Yeah, not very many.
Not very many.
No.
And I just want to say this because God has built, at least I'm convinced, has built an excellent leadership team in this church that gets along to get things done. I mean, it doesn't mean that if one leaves, it's going to fall apart, but it has to change.
Yes.
And how it changes is very important. And Jennifer here, she's got another job, and so she's not going to be here very much. but she's here at least for the present time, until she gets sick and tired of us, I guess. But, and especially affecting
Us, yeah.
this, because she is our engineer. And, so far, we haven't got now we have people who can do this, and this, and this,
Right.
but they can't do the triangle.
Yes.
And, until we get that, I'm not gonna be comfortable. Because one thing I am convinced, this here is now we're getting over 500 hits on these programs. That means that there's more than 500 people that's been exposed to what we're doing. And what we're doing is, and I'm going to use a term I probably shouldn't, we're selling Jesus. You don't have to pay anything, but we're selling Jesus. And this is a mission. Not that we're, because, well, I should say, we are going into the world. And right now, I have, and it's not this particularly, but we also started using Zoom and going into other countries with that. I have 6 requests out of Pakistan for us to Zoom meetings in there. And I have to tell them right now we can't do it.
Yeah.
But hopefully we can down the road. I have 3 requests in Tanzania, 1 request in Malawi. Now, will we ever fulfill these? I don't know. That's up to God.
Yes.
But when we can reach into other worlds without spending a fortune going overseas to do it, boy, what a beautiful opportunity. But I'm convinced the devil doesn't want it to happen.
Oh, no.
But God does. When you've gone through a transition.
Yes. A lot of them.
A lot of them. I'm sure you didn't like them.
No, you have to pray about it, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we're just human, you know, and so you need the leading of the Lord and pray that you don't get frustrated.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
Because I'm usually frustrated.
Oh my, I have to pray about that all the time. Lord, make me not so frustrated. Help me to lean on you.
I know Mike's gone over the last few years over quite a transition.
Yes. Yeah, and you know, they're hard.
Yes.
But the only thing that, excuse me, gets me through is I know the Lord's with me.
Yes.
He tells me, I'm with you. You know, you're going through these things, and Satan's trying to turn you away. But, you know, God's faithful. He's there, and he's telling you,
Keep at it.
stand fast, stay strong.
I didn't think at 50 I was going to be going through this transition. Everybody told me things change when you hit 50. I wasn't expecting it to be the month after. But it's a lot of prayer. It's a lot of searching to make sure, you know,
You're on the right track.
that you're on the right track. And I'm one of those that I got to know that I know that I know. And you know, like I told you guys, when I took this job, I told God, between him and I said, you have to make it miraculous that I know this is where I'm supposed to be. You know, and it was just, you know, things happened and we are where we are in the middle of all this transition.
Yeah, and plus the fact that she, about 4 or 5 years ago, you lost your husband.
Yeah.
Was it 5 years?
4 years ago. It'll be 4 years in November.
2019.
2020.
2020, okay. And you lost your wife.
Almost 8 years ago.
Yeah. And you gained me.
Well, sometimes you win and
Right.
sometimes.
25 years ago.
Yep.
Ooh, we're at the end. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next week. Well, that went fast.